What is National Board Certification and why is it important to Wichita Public Schools? National Board Certification is a voluntary process through which teachers demonstrate their teaching practice meets the rigorous criteria of the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards. This anonymous, peer-reviewed process is similar to board certification in fields such as medicine. Why is National Board Certification important to the students in Wichita schools? In achieving board certification, teachers prove their ability to advance student learning and achievement. Over the last 20 years, numerous studies have confirmed that students taught by National Board Certified teachers learn more than students taught by non-certified teachers. In the Wichita District, National Board Certified teachers are working at every level of education, from kindergarten to high school, in and beyond the classroom. Let's hear from Board Certified classroom teachers on how the process improved their teaching and their students' learning.
The most important thing about the National Board process for me was learning how to reflect systematically about my teaching. I try to never let a day go by when I'm not asking the question, why did something work or not work in my teaching? And if it did work, why? I want to be able to replicate that. If it did not work, why not? I want to try to change what I'm doing. And one of the things that I've come to in terms of generalizing about the process, most of my mistakes come from not understanding my students well enough. And so my first attempt to fix something that's been a problem is trying to better understand my students.
National Board has absolutely changed so much of what I thought I did pretty well, but it has just made me dig deep within myself to be able to bring out what I want from the kids. It's not about me just presenting information. I'm just more of a facilitator, and then they can take it from where I am trying to start them. I don't think I taught like that before I was certified. I think I was more, here's the information and I hope you get it. But it has certainly empowered my kids, and it's made me think differently how I present information to them. I think it also has made me appreciate more of what I can actually have kids do. Years ago, when I thought there was no way I would be able to tell you that kindergartners can do some of the things that I'm having my kindergartners do now. And it's simply, I think, because I've empowered them and I'm letting them go on the track, and as they're going down that path, they are learning and growing, and I'm just able to kind of push them along. So certainly it is me sort of planting the seed, and now they're just taking it upon themselves and holding themselves accountable.
I believe that National Board Certification changed my teaching by making me a teacher who is able to dive down into what each individual student needs. I'm able to know more about my students through the process because I had to kind of force myself into looking at individual students' data compared to the whole class. So I could see where my students were missing out on skills or concepts, what they were missing in math. And math is a course that needs all those small concepts to build into the big concepts, and with national boards I was able to see what each individual kid was doing and what they were missing before I could go on to teach the whole class. It allowed me to know which kids I needed to focus on during work time, so I could go see those students on an individual basis daily just to check them out. I could see their flaws or their mistakes before they were going to make them, because I had worked so hard through national boards to really cut up a lesson and really dive into what the lesson was going to teach and find the mistakes my kids were going to have before I taught it. So I learned through national boards that if I really push myself before as I lesson plan, then I get more out of my lesson because I'm more prepared for it.
One really great thing about the process of National Board Certification is that it's not lockstep telling teachers that they have to conduct their instruction in a particular way. The teacher sets his or her own goals, and then the teacher decides the best way to meet those goals, and then shows whether or not they can demonstrate that the students met those goals. And so the process isn't designed to say that a teacher has to teach a particular way, but rather asks whether the teacher is meeting his or her best practice needs within their particular teaching situation. And I think that's another really valuable thing about the national board process, is it kind of tries to demonstrate how adaptable a teacher is to their teaching situation and whether they can find the best practices that live within that situation.
2 board-certified teachers serve our district as instructional coaches. Let's hear how certification impacts their jobs supporting classroom teachers and their students.
As I reflect over the work that I went through as a classroom teacher to become nationally board certified, it also has guided me in my work that I do now in the instructional support office. National board certification really opened my eyes to how to collaborate with other stakeholders, reaching out from my classroom into the family as well as into other educators. And now in this role, my world has really opened up as I work with teachers, building leaders, principals, assistant principals, still working with students on occasion, as well as paraprofessionals and substitute teachers. So collaboration has been really important as gathering important stakeholder viewpoints in the work that we're doing to build common language, to build common goals so that we can all work for student achievement no matter what department we're working in. Another important piece has been looking at data, continuing to watch the data to see if what we're planning and if what we are implementing is working, and being able to react to that if it is not working has been important. It was important in the classroom and it's still important in this position. Helping teachers to see how to use data and use data that is going to let them know if their students are learning or not.
And the national board process really helped me personally to learn that I had the power to look at my teaching, look at my craft, and really refine it to get the best product I could possibly get. What that does with working with adults then is it kind of creates a confidence in me that allows me to then show them part of that reflective process in a way that they can go beyond wherever they currently are, whether they are a veteran teacher or a new teacher. The National Board certification process for me, when I did it, I was very new to the AVID world and to the AVID process. What it has allowed me to do as district director is really establish the foundation for the need to look at data, to look at documentation, to look at my actual classroom practices, but most importantly to look at student product, to see are the methods I'm using, the strategies, are those effective with students, with all students, and what can be tweaked or adjusted in order to continue to grow with the students that I currently have. So that translates to AVID because we do that constantly within the AVID world. We're constantly looking at data, looking at evidence, collecting that evidence, putting it in a portfolio, and then submitting that portfolio for self-analysis and review, whether at the site level or an individual level.
2 principals in our district earned board certification before they moved into administration. Let's hear how being a board-certified teacher affects their roles as principals.
I think the change in principalship from manager and facilities manager and people shuffler to someone who understands instruction and can speak about it and have that impact not just teachers but also then start to impact kids. I think that's a big shift. And for me, going through the national board process said, it's about quality teaching, and quality teaching looks like this and it sounds like this and it feels like this and it's reflective. I think the reflective piece really was the first time I've had to ever be reflective as an educator. So going through the process helped me really evaluate my teaching methods, really look at what is quality. So for me, from the leadership perspective, being able to come in and provide that level of credibility and then support for teachers and saying, I've got some ideas, have you tried this?
Being a principal has many different roles from managing a building on down, but one of the most important roles of a principal is to be an instructional leader, and national board certification has helped me in that realm to lead my staff as an instructional leader. I've actually had former colleagues of mine that I taught with when I was teaching, and actually some that I have been in contact with as an administrator, have asked me about the process and asked me for advice and feedback, and asked if I felt they had what it took to do it. And I always say it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but it's also one of the most intrinsically rewarding things you'll ever do. By the time I got my national board, I was an administrator. At that point, I didn't get the financial incentive that came with it as a teacher, and it was truly an intrinsic reward, but I don't think I could have been any happier.
Why should USD 259 teachers seek National Board certification? Andrew and Kathy have some ideas on that.
The real advantage to teachers is it's clearly the best professional development I've ever done. I think with the new evaluation system we're going to, and I've been part of the committee that's bringing that on board, the entire emphasis is on the effect that we bring out in our students. In other words, are they demonstrating what we want them to demonstrate in their work? The number one question of a national board candidate is, how did that affect student learning, and can you demonstrate it? They are exactly the same. So if you're concerned about meeting the standard of the new evaluation process at the highest level possible, National Board is perfectly in line with that.
I had to dig deep within myself and bring out strengths that I maybe have and can expand on that, or weaknesses that I definitely have, and now I know how to work around those. So it's an emotional, it's an empowering way to start over your teaching. It kind of gives you a fresh kick back to your career. So I think it's, I wish everybody would take the opportunity to at least try, even if you don't make it. Just that process will make you change the way you teach the next time. So I wish everybody would have a chance to go for it.
For more information on the National Board Certification process, please visit boardcertifiedteachers.org. And for more information on the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards, please visit NBCTs.org.